Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is nikkilarose. You may have caught my ultimate guide for non-makeup wears on my channel. Well, you're in luck because I have the drugstore edition of that video and I have some incredible drugstore products to share. I can't wait, so let's get right into it. Now, just like my previous ultimate guide for non-makeup wears, I'm going to start this makeup look with a sunscreen. And I'm really excited because I've been testing this one out for the last week since I picked it up for this video to make sure it was good. It was going to lay nice underneath makeup and to see how it was going to perform before I recommended it. It is the sun-touchable SPF 30 Whoa Glow from e.l.f. Now this is of course supposed to be a dupe and it really is very close to the Supergoop glow screen that I used in the previous video. So let me show you what it looks like on. It is sunscreen, so we're gonna do a good amount. It's a little bit more on the thick side than the Supergoop one, but it does blend out and melt into your skin really easy. It's beautiful on. Can you see all that glow? Very similar to the glow screen from Supergoop, but at a much more affordable price. My only complaint about this one, if I had to complain about something, it's the fact that it's an SPF 30, whereas the Supergoop is an SPF 40. I really do try to only use SPF 40 and above, so 45, 50. Those are my favorites. This is 30, so it's not ideal in my opinion. So just something to kind of, point out. Okay, now that our SPF is on and our skin is super glowy, it is primed and it's ready to go for our foundation products. So just a quick note too, the reason why I like to incorporate for like my non-makeup wears, I love to incorporate a glowy SPF or some kind of glowy product underneath your makeup because it just really brings so much like vibrancy and just life to your skin without having to rely on a lot of like highlighters and like products to go on top of your skin. Instead, it gives you that really natural lit from within look. Now, before we do any base products, I am going to switch to brows because brows frame your face, and this is a really important step when you're building your makeup look. Depending on, what kind of brow you have naturally. For me, I talk about this a lot. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I have really sparse brows and it takes me a lot of time to do my brows. And it's something that's really crucial to me that I get done in order to feel good and confident throughout the day. So for me, brows are extremely important. Now, if you're someone at home and you are just a non-makeup wearer and you're just looking for like really natural, easygoing tips to do your makeup, but you have a full-on fluffy, beautiful brow naturally, you might want to skip through this part. So just a forewarning. But for those out there that have sparse brows and can relate to the amount of brow hair that I have naturally, hang on and watch this part. So I've talked about this product so many times. This is a drugstore holy grail for me at this point. I think this is like my 6th tube of this stuff. This is the Wow Brow from e.l.f. This is only $4, and this gives you the same effect as the Kosas Brow Air Brow Tinted Brow Gel. It gives you the same effect as the Benefit one. I've talked about that in my last video. It is just a must-have. So you will save so much money, and this will give you beautiful full brows. So let me, without further ado, get this into my brows so I can feel confident to do the rest of this video. This is the wand. It's nice and small. Really, you can get in there and just build a brow with it, which is what you're going to see me do. So what I like to do first is start with the tip of the wand. This has the most product on it. So if you have fine, more thin brows, like meaning the hair is like fine in texture, this is going to give you a thicker feeling and a thicker look to your brows. This also has a really great amount of hold, so it will hold your brows up into place if that's something you're trying to do. So I just like to push it in an upward motion, and then as I get towards the arch, you'll notice I do switch up the motion and I just kind of round it out. Brows are so personal, so take what you will from watching me do mine. It's going to be different for everyone. But back to the reason why brows are so important, especially if you're a non-makeup wearer, you just want the bare bones, like the basics. Brows are crucial because they frame your face. So I'm just going to finish this brow using the tip of that wand. This does contain quite a bit of fibers, like you can actually see the little fibers on the brush. So what those do is they cling to your natural brows, and that's what builds that thicker, fuller appearance. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry down a little bit. Now, keeping with the brow theme, I just want to throw out another great drugstore brow product that I also use that works really well and performs very similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz pencils that are pretty pricey. This is from e.l.f. as well. Now, let's say you're like me and you still need that little extra bit of shaping to your brows and this wasn't quite enough, then I want to show you how to use this pencil. So taking that nice fine pencil, what I want to do now that my brows are filled in the most they can be with that brow wow, I'm going to fill in any extra sparse areas with the pencil. So for me, that's around my arch and especially the tail. So pushing this just a little bit into the inner part of my brow, switching to this side, upward angles, just to kind of recreate and mimic what an actual brow hair would look like if it wasn't drawn on. And then softly defining the bottom, creating a little more of an arch. Again, this might not pertain to everyone watching this video, so just keep that in mind. So now that my brows are on, I feel so much better. We can move on to some base products. This is the most exciting part. I can't wait to show you what I picked up for this video. This is from L'Oreal. It's the Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. I bought the shade 20 Light, and these actually run a little bit on the dark side. So if you think that you would naturally be a light color, you might want to go even lighter than this, because I was surprised. This light shade I picked up, thinking it was going to be way too light for me, and it's borderline too dark. So I've been wanting to try this. I think this came out maybe a year ago, and I am just finally now getting my hands on it. The reason why I picked this for this type of video, for like the non-makeup wearers, is because I feel like balms and creams, just like I showed you in my last one, are really, really easy to manipulate and to blend onto the skin. And they just kind of blend in with the rest of your skin without having to put an entire face of foundation all over, if that makes sense. So we're gonna take this balm and I'm gonna use a small brush. And the reason why I wanna use a small brush is because I wanna be able to get in there and manipulate it and blend it out in the areas that I want the most coverage. So taking this 108 from BK Beauty, I'm just gonna tap into that balm. You definitely, from what I've learned testing this out for a few weeks, you don't need a lot of it. So let me wipe off some of the excess. And I'm gonna start in the areas of my face that I need the most coverage. So for me, that's gonna be the center of my face, under my eyes, and especially around my nose. Broken capillaries around here, let's tackle that first. So right around my nose, and then working it outward. This is a very, very pliable balm. So it's very easy to blend out. It's very easy to shear out too. So depending on how much coverage you are looking to get. As a non-makeup wearer, cater it to what you feel like you need. Everyone's gonna be different. For example, you might need the most amount of your coverage on your cheeks. You might need it mostly on your chin or your forehead. So for me, like I said, it's the center of my face, especially around my nose. I have a lot of allergies, so I'm constantly blowing my nose, unfortunately. So you can see the reason why I picked this again is it gives me coverage, but in a very nice, natural way. It's easy to manipulate, it's easy to work and blend out. And I'm not having to work really hard. Like, it's blending out with the rest of my skin. Whereas if you were to use a full coverage foundation or even just a liquid foundation in general, you really do have to be mindful of how much blending. Like, you have to make sure you blend it all over so it looks like it's, seamless, basically. Taking a little more of that product, I'm gonna start to work it under my eye. I'm gonna just graze my eyelids with whatever's left over. This is a great tip. Instead of going and getting more of that product and dipping into that jar and just getting too much, when you take whatever's left over, it just gives you a very soft wash of color and evenness. Our eyelids need some prep. They usually have a lot of discoloration. Most of us have a lot of discoloration on our eyelids. For me, I have very visible veins on my eyelids that you can see. By covering that and just putting a simple thin layer of whatever concealer or foundation you're using, it'll really give you a nice, just flawless appearance. Okay, so same thing, just whatever's left over on this brush. I'm gonna blend that in the center of my forehead and above my brow. You'll notice too, I'm just really leaving the outside of my face, like the outer areas of my face, pretty bare. This is another tip, because if you're not wanting to look like you have actual makeup on, if you wanna look really natural, you wanna leave the top of your forehead, around your ear, around your jaw specifically. You wanna leave this almost bare without any makeup, because these are the areas of our faces that look the most detectable. And if you're ever in a hurry and you don't take the time to properly blend out your jawline especially, those are gonna be the biggest areas where you can tell right away that you have makeup on. If you avoid those areas altogether and you just start in the center of the face and you blend outward so it's diffused almost to nothing by the time you get to your jawline and the top of your forehead, you will have the most natural outcome. This is also from ElfCosmetics. I have a lot of ElfCosmetics products, I realize now that I'm looking at this, but they work so well. And this is the Flawless Brightening Concealer. The reason why I chose this for my non-makeup wearers out there is because it is so thin and so lightweight, you don't even feel it on your skin. It's gonna be super easy to blend out, and it's gonna be very, very natural and soft. So the reason why I also love it For those out there that have dark circles under their eyes, for those out there that don't sleep enough and you can see it on their face, this is going to give you that instant, well-rested and brightened effect under your eyes. So I just click the pen up a couple notches. Now I'm going to take the wand. I'm going to hit the areas of my face that I still need just some brightness and a little bit more coverage added to it. So for me, I need to hit this area of my eyes very badly. This is the darkest part of my under eyes, as you could probably see. So right here, and just carefully drawing in that area. Now we're going to use this also in some different areas of the face as well. So I'm going to click it one more time. Now I'm going to bring some more lightness and brightness to this inner part of my face where I have some more shadows going on. I want to just kind of bring that area forward and just give it some natural, just like that little something something. So taking that pen, I'm going to draw a little bit around my nose, again, to brighten that kind of shadowy area of my face. And I'm also going to take this in the outer corner of my eyes. Now I have, again, some visible veins around here and just some darker pigmentation and some redness that I want to disguise and brighten. So same pen, nice and simple. Take a little more. But for me also, I really love to bring some brightness right here. And even for my non-makeup wearers out there, if you highlight the top of your forehead in between your brows and a little bit on the top of your chin, it just brings some really pretty balance. So consider these two parts of the face optional. If you're in a hurry and you just want to skip that, you totally can. Picking up that same 108 brush from BK Beauty, I'm going to start on my chin and I'm just going to tap it on. Really easy. Can tell it blends out super quick. You don't have to be unbelievably skilled at blending out this product. And again, that's one of the reasons why I chose it for my non-makeup wearers. It's just really easy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this just a little bit. And instead of blending it outward, I'm going to tap it, and just press it into my under eyes, because what that's going to do is it's going to blend, but it's also going to maintain the coverage. So you're kind of doing two things at once, saving you time and a lot of effort. So same thing on the outer portion of my eye. I'm going to just tap it. Now here's where I am going to blend it out because I want to soften that line that I created. So blending it out towards my temples. And you can see too, that made such a huge difference. By having that coverage and that brightness under my eyes, between this and my brows, I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. Now same thing, I'm going to tap this onto my forehead, but then I'm going to blend out the edges so it's nice and seamless and really, really natural. So same thing, tapping it, keeping the coverage where I need it the most, which is this inner part of my under eye, and then blending it out. Just a really quick, natural way to brighten your complexion. I mean, it takes all of, if I wasn't talking, this would take me about a minute, to be totally honest. And you don't have to be super skilled at applying under eye concealer. It's not going to be messy. It's really, really easy to work with this product. So that is done. I feel so much better about my overall complexion. I'm feeling way more confident. Now, a product that stands out to me when I think of a natural bronzer, like a cream bronzer that's also drugstore, this had to be in it. This is just a great drugstore bronzer. It is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I think these are $6 or $8, maybe $8. They're super inexpensive. I know that they're at least under $10, which is amazing. I have the shade Honey Drip. They make tons of different shades in this formula, so there's definitely something out there for everyone. Now, I'm actually going to use their blush from the same line as well, and I can't wait to show you this blush because I've been testing it out for the last week and it's so pretty. But let's start with bronzer first because that is the ideal order that you would apply these. So taking my e.l.f. bronzer, now guess what? We're going to use the same brush. So the 108 from BK Beauty, I'm going to take a little bit of that putty bronzer. Make sure you pick a tone that is just slightly deeper than your own natural skin tone, so it looks really natural when you're blending it out and it's just more undetectable. I'm just kind of pushed back my ear a little bit and I'm going to start by my cheekbone. Just tap it in. Cream bronzer does not have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be intimidating. If you just work slowly, you start out in the right spot of your face and then you tap it and you blend it out. It could be so quick and so easy. So what I suggest you do is always start out in the area of your face that you want to have the most color deposited and then go from there and then blend out from there. So that means going into my cheekbone and just tapping it. You're just going to press it onto your skin. We're not going to buff it really aggressively. We're not going to go back and forth. And the reason for that is because we don't want to ruin that makeup that's underneath. And if you're really aggressive and you're blending it back and forth and you're using a lot of heavy-handed motions and a lot of pressure, you're inevitably, you're just gonna lift up all that makeup and it's gonna be a mess. So I don't want you to do that. I want you instead just tap it. Easy, quick, anybody can just tap this on. You know, you don't have to be a makeup expert or, you know, a long-time makeup wearer to do this technique. Anybody can do this. So now that's tapped on, what it's done is it's just given my skin a really nice natural amount of warmth. So now we can move on to the forehead. This is actually my favorite part. Forehead, I like to start at the very, very top and make sure this is pushed into my hairline because you don't want it to look disconnected. You never want to see that line of like your more pale hairline. So for me, if you see this, like how pale is that? You never want to see that, right? So if you're wearing your hair pulled back, make sure you're buffing and you're working your cream bronzer or your powder bronzer into your hairline. Now for my blondes out there or even just anyone with gray hair, you're gonna have to be a little more careful. I suggest you switch to a smaller brush to get it in there without getting it into your hair and ruining your hair color. So be careful with that. I know I can get away with a lot of it because I have black hair. So same thing, same technique, just lightly pushing that on to the top of my forehead. And you wanna think, of course, anywhere the sun would naturally hit you, which is gonna be the highest points of your face because that's what's closest to the sun, just naturally. So hit those areas of your face and then call it a day. That's it. That's all you need to do. And I'm going to stop there because that's just a nice, really, really soft wash of warmth on my skin. And again, keep it with that theme of any places where the sun would naturally hit you. If you're trying to bring that warmth and that balance throughout your face, don't leave out your nose. We're just going to tap it. We're not contouring our nose, that's for sure. That's not for my non-makeup wearers unless you feel like it's really necessary for you. Okay, moving on to a product that I just teased you about. It's so pretty. It's the elfcosmetics Luminous Putty Blush. I bought the shade Maui. So this is a luminous blush. I mean, it has a little bit of shimmer to it. It's not flat. It's not just, you know, it's got some really pretty dimension to it. So inevitably, because it does have like that little bit of luminosity, it ends up looking a little more sheer on your skin. So again, for my non-makeup wearers out there, it's not like a super intense blush. At the end of the day, it's just really soft and natural. For my skin tone, it's a really pretty, very, very soft, natural tone. So I'm gonna apply it with just a fluffy angled brush. This is gonna make it really easy for application. I'm gonna dig into the blush. I'm gonna get in there. Now, as you may know by now, I do like to place my blush higher up than just on the apples of my cheeks. I like to give my complexion more of a lifted look, and so by applying my blush at a higher place, like further up on my cheeks, it just gives my, you know, I have like bigger cheeks, so it gives my cheeks a little bit of a sculpted, more of a model look to them, which I don't have naturally. So cater it and do your blush however you feel most confident. This is what makes me feel more confident. So pushing this on. And again, I want you to really take note for anyone who's maybe intimidated by cream blush or feels like it's gonna be too difficult or maybe too messy or, you know, just hard to work with. Don't be afraid. Get a really nice, soft, natural color and you can't go wrong. So the other thing I want to point out is make sure you're being really gentle with your tapping. Don't overblend it because once again, just like with the bronzer, if you overblend and you're buffing and you're buffing, you're going back and forth, thinking that you're blending it and making it look more natural, you're making it look more natural because you're actually blending it straight off your skin. So you're not even going to see it. Just like with everything else, I want you to slow it down and just tap it gently on your skin, you know? Moving on to the other side, same thing. I'm going to start higher up than you typically would probably imagine. I'm going to deposit most of the color in that spot as well, and then bring it down nice and naturally. Now I want to show you a really cool technique that I did not show you in the last video. For my non-makeup wearers out there, a really, really beautiful and flattering way to wear your eye makeup is before you go in with eyeshadows and the products I'm going to show you in a second, I want you to take that same blush, whatever blush you're wearing that's good for your skin tone, take that blush. Take even just the foundation brush that you used, so that for me that's that 108 brush, take that same blush and you're just gonna not even overthink it, you're just gonna tap this onto your eyelids. So let me show you how easy this is. Tap, 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 done. And done. So what this does is it just brings more life and even more warmth and balance again to the center of your face. And so this is gonna be like our backbone for the rest of our natural eyeshadows to go on top. So it's gonna be so quick, so easy. But before we're done, I wanna show you how pretty this blush is layered just lightly on top of that bronzer that we placed on the bridge of the nose earlier. So just like that. How fresh, how pretty, If you're someone who doesn't want to look like they're wearing makeup, trust me, do the blush in these areas and you're just gonna look so fresh and so vibrant. And it's just a really cool natural technique to utilize. And it's quick and easy. You don't have to have a lot of skill to do it at all. Okay, we are officially done with our liquids and our creams, so now we can move on to powders. I have a really good powder that I've been wanting to try for a really long time, and I finally got my hands on it. It's been sold out for a long time. It's very popular. It's the No. 7 brand. They sell this at Target. I believe it's, I got mine at walmart.com. Different drugstores will carry the No. 7 brand. I got the shade Light. This is the Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Pressed Powder. This had so many great reviews that I'm fascinated. I just can't wait to try this. Supposedly it's a great dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder, which is very pricey, but I love it. I love that formula. Now I have tested this out just once before this video, just to give it a good shot and to get my thoughts and make sure it was good for this video. And I'm very excited because it performed beautifully. So what I'm gonna do, before I apply this, I'm gonna take a BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy. This is an A503. I'm gonna take this fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna blend out just my under eyes because, there was a lot of talking in between me applying that brightener under my eye and me now setting it. So you just wanna make sure that you're not setting any creases that might have formed in between, your applications and before you got a chance to actually set it. So that's the reason why I suggest you do that. Taking that same brush and I'm gonna dip into that powder and work this under my eye, but I'm not gonna drag it. I'm just gonna tap it and press it under my eyes. Just being very careful. And then now that we're out towards the end, I'm gonna blend it out just lightly, feather it out. So that way there's no hard stopping point where the powder was mainly applied. Same thing, focusing most of the powder where I want the most smoothness and the most set part of my eyes to be, which is right in that inner corner of my eye. I want it to be like very flawless in that spot. This powder is more natural, so even if you do apply a good amount of it, it's not gonna look heavy under your eyes, which is, again, why I chose it for this video for my non-makeup wearers. I think it's a really good formula, and it is so much more affordable than the Charlotte Tilbury or just, any of the other formulas that are out there that are not drugstore. I tested out 4 other powders for this video before I decided on this one. They were all drugstore and they were not worth recommending. There's no point in wearing concealer under your eyes if you don't plan on setting it. This is an unpopular opinion, I'm sure, to a lot of people. So take what you will from it, but in my experience as a makeup artist, this area of our face has constant friction and it's constantly in motion. So if you don't set a liquid or a cream formula, it's going to crease. And I would rather you have no concealer on than creased, unset concealer. And now we're just gonna take a little bit more of that powder, same brush, we don't have to switch it. And we're just gonna set the T-zone. We're gonna keep it really light and really natural, just setting above the brows and then just lightly feathering it out towards the rest of the forehead so there's no starting and stopping point like I mentioned earlier. Now I do want to hit this area of my face because I don't want to have a lot of shine in this area. I want it to be nice and smooth and flawless. So hitting more powder right here, and everyone's different. So, if you're not seeing me hit certain areas of my face that you would probably need to, then again, cater this to what you need for your complexion. So for me, it's gonna be this area where I don't want to have a lot of shine. And I am gonna hit the top of my chin just to mattify it a little bit more. And this powder would make a great touch-up powder as well. So if you're on the go, if you're going to work, whatever you're doing in life, take this, even take like a nice clean powder puff, use this to touch up throughout the day. And it's a really great powder. This does feel quite amazing on my skin. So now we get to move on to really fun stuff, like just a little more stuff for your eye. Again, this is also for the non-makeup wearer, just like the last video, but if you remember that video, I did put on like a finishing cream eyeshadow just to bring that little extra something to our eyes. And it was an optional product too. So if you're watching this and that was something that you skipped in the first video, then you're gonna probably wanna skip this step as well. However, I'm really proud of this because I found a great dupe for that more expensive high-end Chanel cream eyeshadow that was in the shade Undertone. This one is from Revlon. It is the Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow in the shade 710 Caramel. It's a little bit deeper, but it is so beautiful. I have actually been wearing this. I put this in my makeup bag and I've been wearing it for a few days now leading up to this video, and every time I wear it, I'm so impressed by how beautiful it is and how easy too. So what I'm gonna do, depending on how long your nails are, so if you're someone who has really long nails and you're watching this video, you're gonna wanna grab a brush, something around this size. If you have short nails, I wanna show you how easy this product is to just blend on with your fingertip. So clean fingertip, I'm just gonna dip into that And I'm just going to press this onto my eyelid. You know, no brush needed, but it is stunning. It's beautiful on top of that little bit of blush we applied earlier. It's just so easy. And it just gives you that little extra something, that little extra sparkle and like vibrancy to your eyes. So switching to this eye, I'll just pop it on top. Again, I'm not rubbing, so keep that in mind. Same technique as the rest of the face. We're not gonna rub and blend it hard on our eyes because we're just gonna blend it off and we're just gonna make a mess. So just take it and press. Same motion as the face with the brushes. Now this is a little more sparkly than the Chanel one that I used in my original video. So, you know, if you're not a fan of this look, again, you can totally skip this step. It's just an optional, beautiful like drugstore cream eyeshadow that looks natural on still. I wanna throw this in as an option in case you feel more confident to try something like this. This doesn't have to be a dramatic product. If you're a non-makeup wearer, you can utilize it to just give your lashes more definition in a really soft way. So with that being said, I'm going to apply the Maybelline New York Tattoo Studio Gel Pencil Eyeliner. I put the shade Bold Brown, so it's just a rich dark brown. So let me show you what you can do to line your eyes in a really, really soft, natural way. It's not gonna be on the outside. Now this is where you wanna really practice. If you've never done this before, take it slow. So taking my pinky for stability. Now I'm gonna hold up a closer mirror so I can really see. What I'm gonna do is just tuck this really slowly, really gently. Be careful. If you've never done this, don't poke your eye out. Just really be slow at it, okay? So just taking it and I'm basically just pushing it into my lashes. And it may not seem like a huge difference on camera, but it's one of those really subtle tricks that you can utilize. It's almost like an undetectable way of wearing eyeliner. You basically don't really see it. But what it does is it just creates that subtle definition on your top lash line, and it also will make your lashes look fuller, even without mascara. So I highly recommend you just give it a shot, try it out. If it's not for you, skip it. So same thing. And that's it. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy. Now what I did show last time, and what I'm gonna show again because it is just, it's a great technique, okay? It's a really, really great and easy technique. I'm just gonna take a dark brown eyeshadow. This is, of course, Drugstore. And this is the Milani Gilded Mini Eyeshadow Palette. This is all mattes. So all mattes, you can utilize this on your entire eyes, but for the purpose of this video and it being just a really natural look, I'm just gonna take an angle brush and I'm gonna dip into this charcoal brown, this deep charcoal brown. Tap off the excess because you don't want to have fallout when you're doing a natural makeup look or a look in general. And I'm just going to push this as close to my top lash line as possible so it's nice and natural. And then you can also just drag the excess amount of shadow about halfway across the eyelid. Now I suggest you only go about halfway across the eyelid because you want it to be very soft, very natural. Same thing, so tapping off the excess, doing a little itty bitty flick, just a little itty bitty one because that's just gonna pull our eyes out a little bit more in a really natural way and just give us a little more definition, make our eyes look a little bit bigger. Okay, this next product for my non-makeup wearers is something I'm really excited about because I stock up in this and I have it in my professional makeup kit no matter what, always. And it is a dark brown mascara. My favorite one, and one of just my favorite drugstore mascara formulas in general. I've talked about this one for so many years now and I've just been a huge fan for years and years. I think I started using this when I was a teenager. That's how long I've been using it. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Original. The shade I have right here is black brown. Again, if you are someone who wants to look like you just have a more natural makeup look on and you don't want to go for a jet black or a really deep black mascara, you want something a little bit softer, this is for you. I have one in my makeup kit right now. I never go without it. So what I like to do is get to the root of my lashes first. So you're gonna hold it and then wiggle it in between the root. That's gonna give you a really nice amount of natural thickness at the base and the root of your lashes. And then keep the tips of your lashes almost bare. This is the most natural, fresh way to wear your mascara instead of having like that clumpy, spidery look with your mascara. I'm gonna do this on the other side now. Holding it up to my roots, wiggling it just lightly, pulling it up, and then you can just kind of hold your mascara wand steady and then blink your eye on top of it. And then I like to just kind of add a little more product to the outer lashes just for a little bit of a lift. So same thing, nice and natural. Now since this is a brown mascara, I do love this on the bottom lashes, so I'm gonna pop a little bit of this on the bottom lashes. Less is more on the bottom lashes. If you're gonna do mascara there, just keep it really light and keep it to like barely a coat. Okay, to tie this whole look together, to finish it all off, I have a really beautiful and simple everyday lip combo. This works really beautiful on my skin tone, so find a nice neutral, your lip color but better type shade, whatever your skin tone is, find that kind of color range for you, and that's gonna be perfect for your everyday lip. I tried and I tested out a lot of different colors for this video in preparation, and this was just the most pretty lip combo that was flattering to my complexion, flattering to my lips, and just made sense for this overall theme. It is the NYX lip pencil. These are so cheap, by the way. And it's just a natural color. It's just pretty. It's a little on the pink side, but it's a really natural pink. So I'm gonna line my lips first with this. Now, just a note before I finish my lip liner, everyone's lip shape is different. Everyone, wants to see their lips shaped a certain way. It's very, very personal, just like with anything with makeup. So take all these tips with, with a grain of salt. For me, I definitely overdraw my lips. And I also like to shape my top lip a certain way. So what I like to do is I like to round out my top lip. For me, that's just the most flattering way for me to do my lip liner. And it also just looks softer on me rather than going in and drawing a more angular Cupid's bow. I leave the inner part of my bottom lip unlined. So I go about almost to the end, but I focus it on the bottom, rounding it out. Now what I'd like to do after that is take my fingertip and just light pressure, diffuse that lip line. Just gonna drag my finger over that liner, and it just softens it. It just takes away that sharpness and that little extra bit of product. This is a product that I bought for actually a full face of elfcosmetics makeup look that I did almost a year ago on my channel, to be honest. I know I'm due for a new one at this point. But I've been using it and I've been a fan of this ever since. I think it's a really great product. It's the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine. I have the shade Happy. Happy looks like my lip color, but just slightly enhanced. So let me show you what it looks like on. This you could really put on with your eyes closed. So not only is it really natural, it's more sheer. It's more on like the balmy texture side, so it doesn't feel like a heavy lipstick. It just feels like a conditioning tint for your lips. So I really, really love this for my non-makeup wearers and for when I'm doing a more natural makeup look. So pretty. And that right there is the final step for this ultimate guide for non-makeup wearers drugstore edition. I really hope you all found this video to be helpful. If you do try any of these techniques or these drugstore products, leave me a comment, let me know how they worked out for you. If you want to see more videos like this, you can click on this one right here. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss my future videos, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.